Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to have you here. We are at the Musical Prosperity Forum. Whoop, whoop. And this is an incredible event with the wonderful Heidi Aderman. And if you don't know her, I would highly suggest that you get to spend a couple minutes and talk to her. She's a musical prosperity guru here to help you amplify your creativity, master financial growth, look at building a resilient brand, navigating industry challenges wherever you play in the musical industry world. So that's why we figured this might be a fun little event. I'm going to let Heidi add a little bit of meat to the bones and finish introducing herself. And then from there, if we could each go around, just everyone take a minute or so, let me know. Yeah, we know where you're calling in from, but let me know where you're calling in from personally on a U level. That would be awesome. So, Heidi, take us away.
All right, awesome. So I have this superpower, and I can turn any situation, no matter how bad, into a gift or opportunity.
Hmm.
And when this superpower came into my life was when I kind of had that aha moment that like this was the piece that I was meant to bring to the music industry because like there are so many letdowns and there's so many people against you. It feels like a lot of times, and a lot of times you feel so alone. And then you work with a bunch of really difficult people and you have to figure out how to have some really difficult conversations with them. And sometimes, quite frankly, it's just really heartbreaking. And no one taught me how to deal with any of that. And so it was just kind of like, okay, well, I'm just going to try and figure it out. And I think looking back, like there was a lot of emotional pain that kept me from moving forward in a lot of situations because I just didn't want to get hurt anymore. And so with this superpower, what I'm able to do with people is we will take whatever the difficult situation is and kind of zoom out, get a different perspective besides just the one that we've been seeing inside of ourselves, get some feedback from some other people, and then instead of just going, well, this situation is really hard, because when you look at something from that perspective, all you're going to see are the hard options. If you see an easy option, you're probably going to dismiss it as too easy, too good to be true, and you won't even entertain the idea of it. And maybe the first initial idea is not quite there. But if you're able to kind of zoom out a little bit and just think, okay, what if this could be 10% good idea in here? What is it? And so we're always looking at the perspective of if this situation was easy, what would that look like? And we just play around in that space for a little while. Because when you have clarity about what you want to create, it's much easier to take the right opportunities when they come up. And it's much easier for you to position yourself in front of the right people and network and find the right people if you're very clear on what it is that you want to do. So one way that this played out over the last 2 months, there was somebody that came to the Musical Prosperity Forum. I think he might have came back in November or December, Natan.
Okay.
And he's an older guy. He teaches woodwind instruments. So taught for a long time, toured for a long time, was part of orchestras for a long time. And he was about to go in for shoulder surgery.
Mm.
And he's like, I'm just really struggling because I still want to be relevant in the music industry.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have this book, I wrote this book, and I just wish more people would read the book because there's so much good wisdom in here from my life. And I'm like, I agree. I wish more people would read your wisdom because, like, we all need to hear from those that have kind of been through it so we can kind of figure out what we're going to do for ourselves. And so we started taking a look at what what would that look like if it could be easier to sell books, and what kind of things did he enjoy doing? Well, he still very much enjoys teaching. And so he decided he was going to start doing some online Zoom classes, and he is not tech savvy at all. But we work together. I'm so proud of him. I like one day I just sent him like watching some Zoom tutorials on how to go in, and then we practiced together every week while we planned for his class. Now, his class is coming up, I think, on the 15th of May. It's the second run through, so we did a dress rehearsal with some close friends and family, and that went pretty good. And now this next time is the next live version. We set him up in an event page, and he sold 10 tickets, he told me so far. We started advertising for it about 2 weeks ago, just to his email list, because he has an email list of about 3 to 4,000 people. So we were able to start from there and get this event going. And he hasn't even sent invites out to the whole list. We're kind of like doing this in some smaller segments to kind of like find out who his audience is a little bit more. So maybe we can segment it, because that was something he wasn't doing before either. And every week as we get together in our groups, like other people are kind of working on other projects. So, he doesn't know what kind of cool things you could do online. So you're getting other ideas from other people, and it's really inspired him to just kind of like ask for help, build the team in the area where he's not strong, get help there. But where he's really strong, that's where he's spending all his energy working on the class. When he taught the class, it was great. He did well on Zoom, faked it really well when technology was not going so great. So I'm really proud of him. That was like one of my biggest awesomenesses that happened this month. So
Right
just
on.
wanted to share with you guys a little bit about what's going on in the Heidelin world.
Very cool. Jeff, introduce yourself.
Yeah, Jeff Henson. So I always joke around. I've got a day job, and I tell people I'm a recovering musician, which is not true. It's music's my vocation and passion. And so, kind of currently where I'm at, I've got a group of individuals as far as Portland, North Carolina, Texas, and Oklahoma. And we're kind of doing the live thing, putting tracks together in our studio under the name of Great Orphan Sea. And so we've been doing it in about 2 years, and really is for all of us. It's we got a couple guys who are at various levels of the quote professional musician. One guy's full time; he does it all the time. The rest of us are kind of like me. We've got a quote unquote day job, and really just trying to find the audience, right? A lot of things have changed in the last,
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20 years. And, number one, how do you promote your music? How do you get people to discover it? And then ultimately, how do you get it monetized? And so that's kind of where we're a little bit down the road. We did one release over the last 12 months, or kind of in the middle of working on the second release, and are really looking to do kind of, what you're talking about, Heidi. All right, take these, challenges, turn them into opportunities, and again, figure out how
Yeah.
to find our audience and grow our brand.
Cool. That is like such a common theme among
Yeah.
just about everybody. It's not just in the music industry, but there's kind of this different perspective that you have to put yourself in. Like let's go back to the guy that I was talking about earlier. Um, when he was doing his marketing at the time, his language was being kind of all about him. And I'm like, you know what? You're the Yoda now. Like, you've done all the things and you've been amazing, and now it's time for you to step back, and there's somebody else that's the hero in this story. And then all of a sudden, he kind of got it for a second, and he's like, "Oh, I need to change
Mhm.
my language and some of like how my emails are going out." And now he's starting to get a little bit more response back from his email list too, with the class and more questions, because now people are kind of seeing like, "Oh, now it's my turn to learn and follow in your footsteps." So, very great point. I'm very excited to look up more about what you're doing too. So, can you put like some links and stuff in the
Yeah.
chat?
Yeah, let me drop a link in the chat here.
Let's all put links in the chat. Let's do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that works.
Fine, we'll do the normal people things. Okay. We'll do it that way. So here's a link to Heidi's appointment. If you haven't already spoken to her, highly suggest you do. If you have spoken to her, highly suggest you speak to her again. There may be something that comes up tonight that you may not have thought of or know. And that's kind of the cool part that we don't always know until we get inspired and triggered where things can pop in. I'll put mine in the chat as well. For me, I play in a couple different sandboxes. I've been an elite energy coach for about 30 years. I focused on peak performers. So I started with Cirque du Soleil, Olympians, national sports teams. Wrote a couple best-selling books, had about 15,000 people come through my hands as a coach. And then COVID hit, and I thought this can't be hard to come online, and it was awful. So I made Lura Creative as the only not-for-profit public relations house in the world. And we go and put these wonderful events on, meet people, have these leadership roundtables, these financial fireside chats, these beautiful musical prosperity forums, those kind of things. So, in that context, anyone that you know as a not for profit, we're 90% by referral. If there's people you know that need a spotlight, that are doing some good, trying to help heal, make some impact in the world, like the wonderful Heidi is, we'd love to have a hello with them. Awesome. And on the musical side, I was a classically trained concert pianist, won Aquinas when I was 12. I taught myself blues harmonica, learned djembe and African hand drums and Congo bongos when I came to Montreal. There was a huge tam tam, 400 people outside jamming and drumming, and you can't do any harm. You'll get in there and you'll figure out the beat. It's awesome. So that's where I'm from.
There's always cool people hanging around Natan too. So, if you're hanging in Natan space, you're sure to meet somebody very, very interesting.
Thank you.
That's
Yes.
awesome. That's a great leap from classical piano to harmonica. I love it.
I was sadly not following any of the rules, so I'm like, I grabbed a C harmonica. I put on like a classic rock station, and for the first year, my poor painful wife, she's listening, and like put me in the kitchen with the door closed. You can't play every single song in one key. I worked it. I no, you can't. No matter what, at the end of the day, I'm like, no, you really, really can't. But awesome sauce that it teaches you a couple cool things. And more importantly, when I got a whole bunch of harmonicas and went out and played, when I went to my first jam night and I'm up there on the stage and I'm whittling like a son of a gun. And the lead guy had to just take me off, bring me aside, and he's like, "Hey, you clearly don't know band etiquette. You clearly don't know how to jam. You've clearly never done this before. So let me help you out on this one. All right. Number one, when I'm singing, don't play. Number two, when I'm soloing, don't play. Number three, in case you're curious when you should play, I'll let you know. I will nod at you. You should just be looking at me the entire freaking time. Don't look at the audience, just look at me. When I nod at you, play. When I nod at you again, stop playing. It's that simple. It just do it. Just do it. So sure enough, that worked for me. And one of the groups, Heidi's right, we are blessed enough to be I'm in certain circles where I play with rock and roll history, like Prince Stash DeRoya, who played with well, he got arrested for drugs with the Stones. He played with
Oh,
Jagger, he
wow.
played with yeah, he's 1960s rock and roll history hall of fame type stuff. And so he'll tell crazy stories and jump in and be like, oh, Jimi Hendrix, like you said, Natan, he wouldn't follow that formula. So he got fired from his first gig. I'm like, wow, if you can fire the Hendrix, man, the craziness. So Yes, very cool stuff.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, let's hear from Caroline.
It's so great to be here. Thank you so much. And it just sounds like y'all have really got a lot going on and it's very inspirational. So thanks for sharing what you do. And yeah, I ended up in Lynchburg, and after I was in North Carolina, I went to the North Carolina School of the Arts, and composing was what I always did. And so I was supposed to go to LA, work for this guy as his assistant composer, and my husband asked me to marry him. So I was like, LA, love of my life. LA, love of my life. And finally, the love of my life won out, of course. So I just started going to film festivals and meeting people. I scored some films. I wrote jingles. I thought, I'm in Virginia, but if I beat the bushes really hard, I can make something happen. So I was able to do that. And now I have, because I went to a conference in LA and met like 250 singers, songwriters, producers, I started collaborating with them, which I think just is huge. When you're sharing your best self with somebody else that does something better than you, it's a really great formula for, getting, I don't know, even better. So, I work with some people in LA, some people actually in Canada, and I do have, thankfully, a publisher in LA. So I just finished a Gothic choir album with two other people, and our publisher has launched it. So I'm very excited about that. But you can't just have all your eggs in one basket. So I have worked with some other people, and I'm producing a pop song right now. I'm just always looking for other opportunities and collaborating with other singer songwriters. Um, and I have a small studio in the basement. And I think what Heidi said about clarity, I sometimes get a little confused because I have more of a classical background, play the piano, and do orchestral. But I also like to do pop, but I just did Gothic choir, which is so wild. Um, and I'm just, I think I could market myself a lot better if I had that focus and that clarity. I've taught logic classes online, and I think my superpower is meeting other people and then trying to create something from networking. And I wish I could meet everybody in person because I think I love shaking hands and looking somebody straight in the eye, and I usually can get a job from that. But that's what I've been doing lately. So that's what I'm all about.
Well, that is incredible.
Very cool. Yeah.
So, both of you, it sounds like, are working on, trying to connect with the right people, which is probably a huge reason why you decided to come. But I'm curious, why do you do it? Like when it came down to that decision where you're like, this is what I'm going to keep doing, and I'm going to start with you, Carolyn. So, you chose the love of your life, and then you were like, you know what? I'm just going to make what I have right here work, and I'm still going to go do something. Why?
Because I can't stop. I mean, I'm constantly in the studio at my piano. I actually did try to stop for a while, and I definitely had to slow down when I had children. But I was still sending stuff to even Nashville. I have some country songs, and I was down there. I sent some music, and the agent was like, "Well, Caroline, I want you to stay in Nashville if you can. And I want you to, maybe you can start opening up for some people." Well, I called my husband and he was like, Caroline, you have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. You better get home. So it was okay. They were still like pushing the songs to other artists. I don't have the best voice, but I have a really big personality on stage. And I always would, when I had a band, I would try to get younger, better people than me and mentor
Nice.
them in a way. But yeah, I just could never let it go because music was always in my head and I had to go get it down or I had to write it down. And I just can never give up. And I'm so much older now and I have grandchildren, but I'm still just chipping away and doing my best and learning as much as I can and meeting people. Um, so that's why I can't give up.
It sounds like you really value mentorship and learning something new. And
Yes,
so,
yes, I
does
do.
like, do these kind of values and things, do they have like a place in your everyday, like creating right now? Like, are you experiencing this kind of mentorship and the right collaborations with people with what you're doing right now? Do you feel like?
Yes, I do feel like that. I mean, I recently had a young composer, and she ended up at a university actually here in town, and they have a really great film school. So I worked with her for about, I don't know, 6 months, and now she's scoring student films. So I feel like when I can give back and then see the impact of sharing my knowledge with her and then seeing her rise up. She's all of maybe what, I think she just turned 19. That really, I don't know, it's very fulfilling. Yeah. And so when I have opportunities to help others, and, even things like I would meet somebody that needed some sync music and I didn't have it. Well, I would reach out to 10 of my friends. And so those kinds of relationships really helped me because he said, Caroline, I'm going to pay you back by producing your next song. I'm going to help you do this. I'm going to, even my publisher, he was like, we need to find more composers and artists. So I just started reaching out. And I don't know, everybody that I sent to him, he was like, way to go, Caroline. Thank you so much. So now I'm kind of like an ambassador for him. And when I go on PMA, the Production Music Association, I'm always, saying Leica Music is a great publisher. If you're interested, send me your music and I'll forward it to the owner. And so things like that, they I don't know, it's very fulfilling.
Yeah. So, what do you feel like is missing right now?
Probably finishing a couple of the projects that are sitting on my, in my studio downstairs and not having or making enough time to really get down there and finish them. I have a day job. We own an oink joint. It's a small barbecue restaurant. And it's just me and my husband. We seat like 60 people. We have plates and sandwiches, a few other things. And so that sort of trying to juggle is the hardest thing for me.
Hmm. Yeah, I totally get that. That was where I started with all of this. This is how I ended up here.
I totally
Now,
understand.
luckily, though, in all of my management positions, I was in charge of doing the schedule for everybody, and I really feel like once I realized that I actually should be applying everything that I learned in my day job to my music, and all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, we can do this with the whole time thing. Um, but I'll give you a quick suggestion of something that you could do. And you could just spend like 5 minutes a day doing this.
Okay, thank
And
you. Thank you.
I call it the perfect day exercise. And it's all about tapping into your imagination because in your imagination, you can have any resource you want, all the money in the world, everything that you need, that dream instrument, like whatever it is, and you're going to write it into this story. And so you could just start like, my perfect Saturday, and you want to be as specific as possible. So, like, what time did you wake up? Like, what kind of coffee did you drink? Like, did you go out by the pool later? When did you start, like, going back to the studio? What did you get done? And you just write a little bit. And then the next morning, write a little bit more. You're in a different spot every time you go back to this story. I usually just pick it up from where I left off. So like, oh, timer's up, 15 minutes, time to like, and then it is what it is. And then I get there the next day and I'm like, oh, where were we? Oh yes, okay. And then I write a little bit more. Let this go on for a little while and see where your story goes, see where your week goes. And then what I do with this is I look at my real life, my real schedule, and I go, how close is some of this stuff to what I really have going on? First thing I do is I celebrate the stuff we already got going. Yes. We don't do that nearly enough. And the second thing I do, if I'm like really working on my schedule and I'm really working on this project, I will take like a blank Google calendar and I will start blocking out my perfect day as it went in the story. Like, oh, I slept from this time to this time. And then I got up and I was in here from this time to this time. And I'm basing all of those decisions in the story based on things I already know about myself. Like, I do really well creating in the morning when it's quiet and there's nobody else around. So, that would be ideal in my perfect story. Or if I can't sleep and it's the middle of the night, that's another really great time. So I'll take those where I can get them. It's just like little things that you know about yourself that make it just a little bit more enjoyable to create or a little bit more enjoyable to get done. So you're more like in this flow state. And once you have the comparison, then you can go, okay, what do I not need on my schedule right here where I could fit this in? And one of my more recent adjustments, I guess I did this last year, so it's not so recent, but I used to be on Reddit all the time. Like, that's where I get lost in the scrolly scrolls. Like, so I was like, no, this is research. There's really great stuff about musicians in there. No, they're really just really negative. I don't know. But anyway, I just cut that out. I was like, you know what? Nope. And I started just reading more because I was like, you know what I don't do anymore? I don't just read for like fun. Like I should read some fiction. Should try that. And oh, that's been great. And it's perfect to unplug. And usually I like fall asleep pretty quickly. But it's just been, I realized the shift after I did it, how much closer I was to the way that I wanted to feel or be. The negativity that I was getting from the social media platform, it was bringing me down. I needed to be around something more creative and more positive, and making that shift brought me a lot closer to the flow that I really wanted in my perfect day.
Thank you so much. I think that's great. I wrote everything down you said, and I'm going to try it. I'll start tomorrow.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I can't wait
Thank
to hear how
you.
that goes.
Okay, I will let you know. Thank you.
For
You're
sure.
welcome.
Grab her link, book a one-on-one with her because a follow-up on this, it's the most important part. People get inspired all the
Yes.
time. And, that's the difference between inspiration and motivation and dedication and actually doing the thing that you were all excited about so long ago that you're still excited about enough to actually complete. there's a big thing where people post, especially the younger people, on the TikToks and the LinkedIn's and the focus groups and all the fun interwebs. And the thing is, like, let's say I said I want to lose 25 pounds by summer. If I post that, I get this endorphin rush just by saying it. And 50% of all the endorphin rushes I get is when I post it, just by saying it. The other 50% only comes when I actually lose the 25 pounds, which is why most people go, I'll take the first 50. It was free. I'm good. And I'm out. And that's why nobody does it. And it's the same musically. You know, we're all like, I'm going to write another album. And you're like, oh, yeah. Oh, well, you know what? I wrote the name of the album and I told people about it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm you. So don't be that guy and just say, I'm going to lose 25 pounds and then don't. Write the album, talk to Heidi, have some fun, reach out to me, see who I can connect to you in the industry. We have some friends that we play with and stuff. And even in that context, there's a gap, right, between you where you might be and who you know and where you're not struggling to keep the lights on and the doors open. That's not the level. But at the same time, it's not Grammy award winning either. You know what I mean? So somewhere between the two, and that's the crazy part, because and this is, obviously where Heidi speaks from. She gets to work with some very cool, famous people. I I've gotten a chance to work with some very cool, famous people, and it's neat because what they're looking at and thinking about and talking about isn't what you'd expect. I've got one guy that I'm a friend with that's coming into my Voices That Lead podcast, and it's Sir Knighted, right? Like that's the start of it. The fact that he's knighted, I'm like, all right, the story is easy after that. So it's Sir Freddie Ravel. He played with Santana. He played with Earth, Wind, and Fire. He played with Madonna. He played with Lady Gaga. He is an Emmy nominated singer, composer, piano, keyboard writer. And then that was career number one. And I mention this because he was able to translate that into two other careers from there. That translated to his corporate career. He met Deepak Chopra, wrote a book on personal health and well, personal development, not so much personal health. And then from there, all of a sudden picked up corporations, Nike, NASA, HP, IBM. And so he's playing with these Fortune 50 companies. And, the musical career, decades from Earth, Wind, and Fire to like now, multiple albums, award winning, that could have been it just alone. But to translate that to personal growth and development, and that enough people like I'm an energy coach, that's enough of a career on its own. I've done that for 30 years. I couldn't imagine starting a new career now. That would be crazy. But that wasn't enough. And then he did the third one. Because if you're blessed enough to do the first two and people know you and hear about you, and then corporately you big up, now you can see and hear so many more people because you do one little drop and it hits hundreds and thousands of people through companies and replicates. So the third career was celebrities. And that's the most beautiful end result of a life serving in music. And the people that hire him are Jeff Bezos, Sir Richard Branson, Oprah, Elon Musk. So when you started at that, you get to play to that. Going up that level, you're thinking to yourself, well, then, okay, so what on earth would somebody like that need? And that's the cool part. We look at their accolades and their achievements and accomplishments. We don't look at them as a human. He might need a hug. He might need some compassion. He might need some sympathy. His poor, dog might have just passed away and he might need to go through depression therapy, something, the human side, not the professional side. Good God, man, I can't help him there. But at the same time, it would be silly to. So aces in their places, looking at where Heidi's coming from and who she can help and how she can help you with, utilize it. Use her as a springboard to level up. Go, 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 so that when you get into that space where you can be in front of a Sir Freddie Raval, you know that you're not there to sell him or tell him or pitch him anything, but that just being with you and what he can see from that, that would give him inspiration. And then who knows what magic sparks you can make. That's the cool part of music. It's not a really basic, simple business. What's that expression? It's not show friends, it's a show business. But it's the weirdest business. It's so different than any other business, Heidi. It doesn't follow the same rules. It's got its own cool set of, there's like a almost a high school, cool kids club over here, and then the kids smoking under the bleachers over here. And it's just all these little cliques, and it's crazy, but music's different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one of the things I really love about it, actually.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
these monthly meetings, what different people we get in here and the different ways that you can make money in music. I feel like so many people fall to like the trap of what was traditional and are failing to see all of the other different opportunities that there are available. Uh, just because, well, in my situation, I was just told that it was really going to be too hard. So, and I was working in radio, and radio was really hard. They made me sell advertising. It was horrible. Anyway, Jeff, I want to know more about you. Why did you make the decision to make music and do all of this stuff?
Yeah, so long story arc, and someday down the road I'll write a book on it, and you'll get all the details. But let me see if I can like condense it and summarize it. So I started out music major, wanting to go down the music road. Ended up getting married early in life, and could make as much money as I needed to support my family. So I kind of put that on the back burner and went out and developed my quote unquote professional career. But it always stayed with me, right? And I went through a lot of interesting things musically during the time frame. I was very do it myself, and I'll collaborate with other people, but I got this, and I really got tired of doing a lot of things by myself, and it led me to a place where I stepped away for like 20 years, didn't pick up an instrument, didn't play a gig, didn't record anything, and really just reached a point in my life where the songs I had in my brain, they were not going away. I felt like they had value. I felt like they were good. I felt like, okay, maybe I'm not going to be a Taylor Swift, but there's some group of people out there who are going to appreciate this, and really kind of picked everything back up right around the time COVID started, and just started with the idea of just, F it. I don't care if nobody hears it. I'm going to do this. And I've got a group of like people. Some of them I've worked with for, literally going back to high school, a couple of them. And then we've got a couple new folks also working on the project. And so that's kind of where we're at. And I think we're launched. We're still pretty close to the shore, but we're also, realistic about, okay, we need to know how to get into the deeper water and get further out. And so that's kind of where we're at now. I'd say we're probably in we're like, 2.0, knowing that we need to be at like 9.0. So again, just looking to learn, looking especially to understand how the business has changed, right? It's not get a band, have an album, get signed to a record contract, and you're golden, right? It's way different. And so we're trying to figure out again how to find our audience, right? That's really what I describe it.
Okay, so who is your audience? Who do you make the music for? Do you know?
Well, man, we have had a lot of internal discussions. One of our other members is really about the okay, why? What's your mission? So I don't. That's hard for us. That's hard for me to answer, right? I think that I can name a lot of bands that are influences or people that we think that we kind of admire.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we've got that. The gap for me, and as I see it, this may not be the right answer, but as I see it, is okay. How do we get our music in front of those people, right? Is that social media? Is that Spotify? And if so, okay, well, how do you do that? Is that an ad campaign? Is that kind of a grassroots, build your email list campaign? So I think we're trying to solve for all those things in finding the right people. I think in my mind, it's exposure. We don't have enough outlets where we're hitting people. And to a large degree, I don't know that we know what we need to be doing to get the music out there. And again, today's modern, way of being a band and exposing people to your music.
I Gotcha and all that. So I'm going to go back to what you touched on about, who your influences are. Who have people said that you sound like?
Ooh, I think we're pretty eclectic. I think that in our hearts, if you asked us, we would say, okay, we're a progressive rock band. So, a lot of King Crimson Rush, yes. Some of the probably have a good amount of classic rock and a little bit of probably 80s thrown in there. But my our guitar player is my brother. He tends to like a lot of Americana and classical, solo guitar pieces. So we've got a song like that, right? I'll do some kind of, I don't know what you might used to call film music or atmosphere music, and we'll put, a real short piece on there. And then we try and come back and kind of do the rock pop thing as we're inspired, right? We're really not trying to write to a formula. We're trying to find, we have lyrics in the music. So we're trying to find lyrics that we feel would be inspiring, or at least inspire us to write the music, in hopes that, again, we'll connect with somebody. There's somebody else out there who this will resonate with, and really they'll go, okay, yeah, I get that. I felt that, or I dig that riff, or, what have you. So we feel confident that we are working to put out what we feel is quality, and we need to find the audience who will also share that.
So, from the creative perspective, awesome, good. Yes, go with the flow of like what kind of music makes you happy as you're like creating it and stuff. But from like the finding the right people perspective, we're just gonna lean into whoever people have said you sound like. And you can even start digging into influences if you want to, but start with who people say that you sound like. Go to a Wikipedia page for that band. When you go there, it'll tell you what genres and subgenres that they belong to. So when you do your posting, you want to make sure that you're tagging those kind of genres, or you're explaining that you're that kind of genre. And if you're not sure, if you're like, I don't really know if that's what we are, Wikipedia that genre. And
Mm-hmm.
it'll go into like all of the elements that you will tend to find from that particular genre. And then you can go, yeah, we have that. Or like, no, we totally don't do that at all. And you can like then kind of self-identify, like, do we really fall into this? Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go find fan groups for those bands, and you're going to find like other bands that are similar to those bands and go like their pages. And you're just going to start commenting on their posts. You're going to start liking their stuff. And then comes the fun part. You're going to start spying on their people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get to learn the other fun things about them, because like where the trick of attracting people to actually get them to convert has absolutely nothing to do with like how good your product is. I mean, it does a little bit with music, but really like you're kind of selling yourself, because you could be, you know, not the greatest musician in the world, but Carolyn was saying it before about like she's got that great personality on stage, so people love to watch that. So they want to know more about you, the personality, like what's going on in your life. And so that's why my dog Stormy is now going to be doing more videos. Because you want to have something besides the fact that shows that you're the professional that you are, and is like, yep, I just released this song, you should check this out. But you also like want to show who you are as a human being, because even though we have all these ways to communicate with each other digitally, we're really more divided and separated than we've ever been in history. And so what people are looking for more than ever is a genuine community to be connected into. And if you can create that around your music, and you're talking about things that interest people that like your genre of music. For doom metal, it's the Family Guy. You know, it's just, you know, you find out like little things as you start doing the research. And then it makes it a lot easier for posting. And you also start noticing the language that those fans use, and use that same language when you're doing your posts and stuff. That will also help, because they're like, oh my goodness, they talk just like me. It's so crazy. And that's a lot of work. And I want to say that I was doing all this by myself and struggling, like just going back to like the time thing. So this goes back to one of my 5 keys of prosperity, which is finding the right team. And that's where, yet again, Natan, my fairy godfather, came along in a moment of like despair. And he's like, guess what? Guess what we're doing now? And yeah, a lot of this whole process that I told you, I get help from Natan's team. It's not just me doing all of this. You know, we all talked about where it started from, the people that we want to be talking to, the people that we want to have impact with, the people we want to be working with. And so the language that we use in our posts are meant to attract those people. And gosh, oh my gosh, they help me so much with like the posting and the regular posting. So there's at least something going on in case like my whole world goes crazy and I can't do any of it. Stuff's getting done.
We've got
like,
you, girl.
oh my gosh, like I constantly have flows of conversation going on, which is it's great and amazing. I couldn't generate all that by myself. And so that's where I just have to let you guys know how awesome Natan's service is. So if you start doing this and you're like, I'm in over my head, I'm like, help.
Hey.
Natan will help attract the right people to you, and you can start getting this like machine up and going. But don't forget to talk to me first, because we'll make sure that you have all the things in place so that it goes really nice and smoothly, because
It would be
Natan,
smart, yes.
it's no fun when like you do things out of order. It just doesn't work very
You
well.
want to
So.
be doing that correctly, 100%. If you guys want to take a minute each and just say, as we go around the room, because you gave your time and your energy and your beautiful soul tonight, let us know if it was worth it. A lot of people are concerned about coming to events like this because they're convinced somebody's going to be selling and telling and pitching, and it's a webinar or a workshop. And instead, I really wanted this to feel like it was an open roundtable discussion, like it was a beautiful symposium, a gathering of intelligent people sharing ideas, maybe a little wine. That's what I was hoping for. So if you can take a minute or so, let us know. And if we can use that as a video and blast it out to the interwebs, we will tag you and increase your followings and such.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, Heidi, exactly kind of what you're talking about at the end there. All those things that, we feel like we know what our musical mission is. I'm not sure we understand this weird box of, okay, well, I'm taking on all these other tasks that are the non-music tasks, right? And we're not any good at them. I mean, that's the reality, right? And you get overwhelmed by these things. And you're like, all right, I think I'm trying, but I'm probably not doing it very well, right? And that's definitely part of that. What we're seeking to find is, okay, how do you crack this nut of all these other things that we need to be doing that we really don't even know what they are or how to accomplish them. So yeah, that I think you captured kind of where we're at and what we're looking to do in our next phase as we go from 2.0 to 3.0.
It is really awesome that you have that awareness, that like there's pieces missing, there's things that you aren't so good at yet. And well, most importantly, you're looking for the answers. You're seeking out like what the formula is, and you're not afraid to take a little bit of time just to like stick your toe in and see if maybe this is the right direction. And I mean, it's a great way to look at things, and I encourage you to do the perfect day exercise too, because it will kind of help you. Make all your band members do it too. It's always nice to kind of know where they want to go to.
Yes.
Caroline, what about you?
Well, I do feel very comfortable in this space, and I feel like it really has been a wonderful, inspirational time together with all of you. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. And this information is extremely valuable. And like Jeff said, I do feel like one of my weakest links is promotion, promoting, okay, Caroline, what is it that you are representing? What are you, a composer, a songwriter, a producer, an engineer? I mean, you have to be all those things in this day and age. Don't you agree with that? Especially, yeah, as musicians, you have to be the one stop shop. However, when you network with other people and you collaborate with other people that are better than you, it raises your game. But I just feel like I don't spend time like promoting myself because, technology, yes, I like it and I use my computer, but as far as some of the spaces, I'm just not on them. And I'm certainly, I'm just going through like Heidi did and looking at other people and being like, oh, I'm such a loser. you know, sometimes I feel that way because they're like, well, I got this sync, I got that sync. And I've been in that space for like 3 years now. And I'm like, it is so, and I've been with some agencies, I have the publisher, but it's still, for me, it's like, I need the clarity, focus, and the team that could help push me further and over that hill, or to the top of the mountain. I don't know what it is, but thank you so much. And this has been fabulous for me. So thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate both of you. If in any way it serves you, reach out, grab Heidi, grab a one-on-one. If it serves you, if you're looking for team, if you're looking for support, if you're looking for a way to do all of that, the blessing is we're really, really, really good at what we do, and we're not for profit. So we're a fraction of the price of any other agency. Our stuff would normally cost gazillions of dollars. It doesn't. So, yay. There's that as a plus side. Yeah.
And I really hope that we get a chance to talk after this. Jeff, I have some ideas on that book you were talking about. So, but I
Absolutely.
got I got some other good stuff that I can give you, and Caroline as well. I cannot wait to hear how your perfect day exercise goes and how that all times out.
You guys, this has been awesome. So appreciative to have you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, here's what happens after. Everybody gets a copy of the recording. Everybody gets a copy, and if you only register, they'll get snippets. They're gonna hear something cool Jeff said, something cool Heidi said, Carolyn said, and they're like, "Wow, man, I missed it." That's on them. That's fine. That's fine. Next month, you will be reinvited to come back. You'll be invited to speak with Heidi and me. You'll be invited to bring a friend. It's not meant to be a giant networking event. We won't be able to do a deep dive. We won't let everyone get heard. We won't be able to really speak and feel heard if we have 16, 17, 18 people here, much less 67 people here. So we're not trying to hustle and bustle. It's not meant to be transactional. We're really focusing on, like we said, high level conversations with incredible people. And sometimes, dang it, somebody comes up with a cool idea and it helps and it works, and you're like, woohoo, that's beautiful and organic. That's what we're here for. Awesome. So next month, come back. Next month, bring a friend. Next month, have some fun in between. If you want to say hi to me or Heidi, we would love to see everybody.
That's awesome. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Natan.
Thank you so
Great meeting
much
you,
for your
Caroline.
time and your wisdom. It's great to meet all of you. I'll be in touch.
Thank
Sounds
you all. See
great.
you guys soon.
See
Thanks,
Bye.
ya.
guys. Bye bye.
Bye.